We've hit the magic number and we're going to get started. So good evening, ladies and gentlemen, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for taking the opportunity to attend and hopefully learn a little bit more about what life in CHAC Secondary is all about. We're hoping to share some insights into some of the approaches and structures that we use, some of the opportunities that will become available to your students, some of the challenges you might face, and a good explanation of what really happens in that period of time between finishing grade 6 and flowing into year 7. This year's the first year that we've invited our year 4 parents to join us. So what we have in the audience is people who are rapidly approaching the transition into secondary school and those who have got a year or two until that happens. However, I think the information that we've got to share with you will be really valuable. The other people here, of some of whom you will see in the corner of your screen at some point and others not so, Mrs. Shelley McMahon, our Director of Junior Secondary, who you will have a lot to do with once you transfer into secondary school. Mrs. Elizabeth Chaplin, who you already know as the Director of Primary, and our technical guru, Miss Anita Spencer, who has a look of abject fear on her face that the technology will crash at some point, but we have absolute faith in her. My responsibility is really just to give a big picture overview. Mrs. Chaplin will then talk a little bit about what that transition at the end of year 6 starts to look like, so what things are put in place during that final year of primary, and then Mrs. McMahon will talk in a bit more detail about what you can expect in year 7. We will be entering into our enrolment process for our cohort of 2024, which is current year 4s, but just to remind everybody that if you are already a CHAC student, you are already enrolled in secondary school. So if you have friends outside the college who start talking about interview processes, etc., you've already gone through that. You are already part of our community. You are already enrolled for high school. I didn't introduce myself, but hopefully most of you know me. I'm Gary O'Brien. I'm the principal. There's lots of mirth in the background here from people. When I look at CHAC, one of our key things is the culture that we've developed here. It's a culture that's underpinned by respect, acceptance, personal responsibility. We have a motto of courage and compassion, courage being the strength to face the challenges that students will face and the bravery to deal with those things. Compassion is about that concern for others. We also talk about a couple of other key concepts. One of my favourites is grit, which we've really tried to instill in our students. And grit is really the passion and perseverance required to overcome the obstacles and challenges that lie in the path of a worthwhile accomplishment. And we certainly talk a lot about that at year 7. And one of their activities is to make a video of their experience of CHAC, and a number of them have made videos all about grit, which I've particularly enjoyed. Empathy, again, is another key component of what we look for, which is about seeing with the eyes of others, listening with the ears of others, and feeling with the heart of others. And I think that really leads to that overarching concept of kindness that we really try to develop in our students. We do focus on building strong personal relationships across the college and a strong sense of belonging through opportunity, engagement and connectedness. We aspire to deliver a balanced and holistic education covering the dimensions of intellectual, spiritual, social, emotional, physical and aesthetics, and providing a platform where students can discover a passion, pursue a passion and be the best that they can be. Strategically, we've had a number of steps in our development. Teaching for learning and learning for growth really gave us a strong foundation. It talked about growing intellectual capacity, building character, nurturing dispositions and developing faith. Education is changing, but our focus doesn't, and our current developing world and work-ready individuals is about being flexible, it's about being adaptive, and it's focusing on really relevant and rigorous educational experiences that will prepare students with the knowledge, skills and character traits that prepare them to adapt and succeed in a rapidly changing world. The diagram you can see on your screen, you've probably seen before. It's part of our strategic plan, which can be viewed on our website, but it breaks down into a number of key pillars and then a number of characteristics that we're attempting to develop. And these will come through in the subjects that we offer, in the activities extracurricular, particularly that our students get involved and engaged with. Success is always based for us on partnerships and trust. And I think trust is the biggest thing that we look to build with our community, because it's through that trust that we build with our parents, our students and our staff coming together and connecting that brings the success that we have. And it's certainly something that we do focus on. The reality is that your child is entering, or has already entered, if you're really unlucky, a period of great personal change. They will be striving for more independence. They will want and probably demand more privacy, and they will challenge you more than they probably ever have in the past. As a father of 3 boys who have actually all now graduated high school, the last one finishing at CHAC at the end of last year, I can happily inform you that they do come out the other side of this experience, and that's true for both boys and girls. But if there's one piece of advice I offer to all parents as they come into year 7, is it's to make sure that you connect with the parents of your children's friends. They will provide a great deal of support for you as you move through the high school. They will also become a great sounding board when your child comes home and says, "But mum, everybody else is allowed to do it," or "Come on dad, everybody else's dad lets them do that." You'll generally find, as I did when I contacted other parents, that actually wasn't the truth, and they actually were appreciative of the connection and almost built a group of strong, united people that were able to deal with children who had different intentions at that particular time. I do again encourage you to get involved in the life of the college, and there'll certainly be lots of those sorts of opportunities. I'm sure I'll see many of you at the trivia night tomorrow night, which I know is going to be a really engaging event for our community and a great chance to get connected with people who are part of our college. That's enough from me tonight, because it's more about the nitty-gritty detail, I guess, and a little bit more of that stuff. So I'm going to pass over to Mrs. Chaplin, who'll talk a little bit about what happens in that last year of primary in preparation for moving into year 7. And after that, Mrs. McMahon will come on board and talk a lot more about what actually happens in year 7. So again, thank you for your attendance. I hope you get a lot of useful information out of this evening. Thank you.
And good evening, everyone. I will not take up a lot of your time. I know you spent a lot of time talking to me over the years, and it's been wonderful having you as part of our primary community. I just want to reassure you that the transition from CHAC primary to CHAC secondary, it has always been a very smooth one. We have a lot of connection with our CHAC community in secondary, and we have lots of conversations with the staff through there as we make that transition. So the teachers work very, very closely with secondary teachers as they move through. We know our heads of house, we know our director of junior secondary, and it's really important that those connections are made. Please be assured that the children who move into year 7, they may, when they're in year 6, they may talk a little bit about being a bit apprehensive about that move, but once they have moved there, and we do follow up and we catch up with our year 7 students very regularly, they never want to come back to primary. They're ready to move on. They really love what happens up in junior secondary from the year 7 camp at the beginning of the year all the way through. So it's an absolute privilege to watch those children as they move through their education years into secondary. So what we do at primary is we work with our collaboration team. So we do have staff who do have a prep to 12 purview, who look after gifted and talented students, and we have our learning enrichment team as well. So students with particular needs moving through are well known to secondary staff and to people who will be overseeing those people in secondary as they move all the way through to year 12. So that's very important. We also have our heads of house who work closely with our Year 6 teachers as we find out about the students in the house, and there is a program toward the end of the year in term 4 where Mrs. McMahon organises for students to meet their heads of house and to meet her and to feel comfortable about making that change. Our CHAC students are always very comfortable in making the shift up into junior secondary. It's their school. They've been here. Now we have students who have been here all the way from prep, so they're very, very comfortable in that space. They know our school, they know the auditorium, they know the library, they know the canteen, they know teachers just through meeting them in the playground. So they are very comfortable moving into the secondary space, and so that level of comfort is utilised to assist the new students who are coming in. Some of them coming from, you know, there may be only the one student coming from their particular school. So that's where our CHAC students show their leadership, their kindness, and all of the qualities that we have worked on with them in primary as they welcome their new friends into secondary. So please be assured it is a very smooth transition. They are very well supported all the way through, and they very much look forward to moving into secondary. So I'll pass on to Mrs. McMahon now because she has all of the information to give you about secondary.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Shelley McMahon. I'm the Director of Junior Secondary, and I oversee academic and pastoral development of grade 7, 8 and 9 students. And it's a wonderful time to get to know the students, and it's also a long time, so I do get to know them quite well, and I've really enjoyed working with them over that transitional period. I've got a lot of, I guess, the practical information. A lot of the information that I'm sharing has come from the questions that you have sent through as part of this registration process for this evening. But if there are questions that we have not answered, we still have the chat section of the event open as well, so you can actually just type your questions in there. Okay, going to start, we had quite a few questions regarding the subjects offered in junior secondary or in high school in general. I'm just going to focus on the first 2 years. At CHAC, we believe very strongly in a taste test approach to subjects in junior secondary. So we like to have that balance to allow students to develop both their skills and their interests in their chosen areas, particularly as they then move into year 9 and transition to senior secondary, where they do get a lot more choice in the subjects that they select. So in year 7, you'll see that list of subjects that they study. They do get a choice between French and Japanese as their language, and arts, they rotate through the 4 arts subjects over the course of the year, so 1 term in each arts subject. In year 8, again, they have those core subjects. With arts, they do specialise in just 2 of those arts subjects now, and we also introduce them to design and technology. We have an interesting timetable, but quite a successful one. It takes a little while to get used to for our junior secondaries. It's called a 7-day rolling timetable, and there are 4 academic lessons per day, which is around 70 or 80 minutes. The homework guidelines are generally between around the 1.5 hours per night, which is approximately 20 minutes per subject. And I talk more about those expectations and what that homework might look like when we have our orientation evening at the end of year 6. Each day, Tuesday to Friday, we also have what's called a pastoral care time, and I'll go through that in a little bit more detail on the next slide. We are very proud of our pastoral care programs, and our focus on student wellbeing and developing the whole student is behind everything that we do at CHAC. We have a vertical homeroom structure which allows students to develop connections with students across all of the year levels. So in their homeroom, they'll have students from year 7 all the way through to year 12, and they have that sense of family each morning as they come to school within their homerooms. Homeroom student mentors and the homeroom teacher become the first port of call if there are any concerns. And it is clear that the ongoing relationship with these students and their homeroom teacher is highly valued. It is a 6-year relationship, and you can sense that the value in those relationships as we watch the emotional send-offs when the students get to year 12. During weekly CHAC community sessions, students will cover topics such as having difficult conversations, developing friendships, mental health awareness, first aid, and they also have the opportunity to meet together as a year group for chapel services, external presentations and year level meetings. We also have house meetings and assemblies as part of the formal pastoral care programs, and this gives students an opportunity to recognise and celebrate individual and group achievements, develop a sense of house and college community, and also provide mentoring and leadership opportunities across a wide range of year levels and interests for our students. We also have more informal pastoral care behind the scenes, and it involves a supportive team, including myself, the homeroom teacher, the heads of house, the college psychologist, and or the learning enrichment coordinator where necessary. This team's approach ensures that our staff have up-to-date information and can work towards a common purpose in helping our students across many areas, including mental health, learning support, friendships, developing a sense of belonging, organisation. We work in partnerships with you and encourage you to provide us with any information that may assist us in supporting your child. These concerns are dealt with confidentially and sensitively and are based on individual needs and circumstances. I did receive a few questions about that transition across from CHAC Primary as well, and all of that information from CHAC Primary does come over to junior secondary, and I have quite a big sit down with primary teachers and primary pastoral care workers at the end of the year leading into year 7, so that we can make sure that we are supporting those primary students as they come into CHAC junior secondary. Again, lots of questions about extracurricular. One of the best ways of making a smooth transition is for our students to get involved, and extracurricular and co-curricular programs are fantastic for that. It allows students to expand their social support network beyond their classroom, get to know those students who are coming from the many different schools, and also develop a greater sense of familiarity across areas of the college, also the staff and the college routines. We offer a wide range of activities, including extensive sports and music programs, clubs and committees, extension and enterprise opportunities, and lunchtime interest groups. While it's important not to overload the students as they settle into the junior secondary routine, making these programs part of the routine also helps students learn to organise their time, plan ahead, and also develop that sense of belonging to the college community a little bit earlier. Year 7 camping program is very exciting, and that occurs in the second week of term 1. The decision to have the camp early is first and foremost to give students uninterrupted time to get to know their peers and enjoy the company of the cohort through a range of small and large group challenges and activities. There are a few nerves on that first day of camp, but watching students arrive to school the Monday following camp with such confidence and enthusiasm suggests that the timing is really helpful, and it fast tracks that sense of community amongst the group. I'm just going to talk through some of the transitions to high school. So what we do to ensure our students are ready to make that change, especially our CHAC students. Prior to beginning high school, we have a comprehensive orientation program that involves a parent information evening and a 2-day orientation program for students held in October each year. At this orientation, students will meet peers from their house, along with key teaching and pastoral staff. They also participate in college familiarisation activities so that the campus is a little more familiar to them when they arrive in year 7 the next year. The first week of year 7, students spend a large amount of time with their homerooms, learning college routines, getting assistance with lockers, locks, timetables, and getting to know their homeroom, house and core class peers. In week 2 is the camp. They continue developing their relationships with the cohort and the teaching staff. And then we continue with this relationship building through formal activities in weekly CHAC community sessions, and also a follow-up personal development day later on in the year. We also have a subject, ILG, Integrated Learning, which is only in year 7, and it begins to assist students to develop skills relating to study techniques, technology, preparing assessment, routines and organisation. In class, those early homework and assessment tasks will also be heavily scaffolded, initially with greater class time, and this will gradually transition to more autonomous learning as students move through the junior secondary years. For all of those other firsts, questions and concerns, we have our student mentors, we have our teaching staff and our pastoral team to assist with students both in class and also on a more personal level based on individual needs of our students. And I think that's what I've got from the formal point of view. I've got quite a few questions here that I'm going to answer via the try that again, via the chat. And please, if you've got any more questions that haven't been answered, if you can type those through as well. I am going to now try to play a short video, and I'm sure that you will recognise some of the students in this video. They have come over from CHAC to Year 7 this year, and they're just going to share a little bit about their experience moving to junior secondary. So if you can just give me a moment to see if I can make this work with sound as well. I would love some thumbs up if the sound is working as well. Thank you.
We chose CHAC Secondary because it's got the same CHAC spirit, which has been going since the beginning of prep or whenever you came, right through to grade 12. It has many leadership opportunities that will also arise, and many different we opportunities, debating, which you can do in CHAC Secondary.
We chose CHAC Secondary because we had lots of friends here, and we were excited for the learning opportunities.
It's really close to home, and we had a lot of friends here previously by attending CHAC Primary.
I chose CHAC Secondary because there were a lot of new people to meet, and there were a lot of nice teachers here.
I knew so many people coming to secondary, so I thought, well, obviously I'm going to go there because then it will be much easier to, get to know people.
I chose CHAC Secondary because I was familiar with the environment, and so it was easier, like walking around the college and just getting to know high school better.
There are so many more sport choices that you can do and music things, and so I feel like that's really cool.
I love how most of our subjects are in the same classroom, so it's a lot easier instead of moving around the whole school.
The great thing about CHAC Secondary is getting to do heaps of new things that you didn't get to do in CHAC Primary, and you get to make friends when new people come to the college, which is also a really good opportunity.
I really enjoy all the activities in the mornings and how it's all planned out, so you know exactly what you're doing every morning, and getting to know new people.
There are a lot of subjects that you can do in CHAC Secondary, and you can also do extracurricular things like sport and music.
We love CHAC Secondary because there's a lot of natural environment, and the teachers are really nice and welcoming when you first come.
It's a really nurturing environment, and you always feel welcome, and yeah, you learn a lot, and the environment's lovely.
The highlight of grade 7 has been going on the school camp, where you got to meet a lot of new people who are coming to school, and also getting the opportunity to go do crates, things like crate stacking and kayaking, which are really fun at the college, the camp.
My highlight of Year 7 was the camp because I met a lot of my new friends there.
In camp, I met a lot of my new friends, and then we had all the fun activities like the possum glider and the raft built.
My highlight for Year 7 is probably Year 7 camp. We met a lot of new friends and learnt some really good teamwork skills.
My highlight of CHAC Secondary so far has been meeting all my new teachers. It was really fun, and they were all really kind towards us.
I'm really excited about being involved in the enterprise program and the business program because I really enjoyed Trackpreneurs in Year 6, so I'm quite excited about that.
I'm looking forward to doing the enterprise program and leadership opportunities.
I really look forward to doing a lot more music and doing English.
I'm looking forward to the language department and extracurricular opportunities further through high school.
I'm really excited for the leadership roles that are coming up and all the enterprise things that we can do.
I look forward to the environmental and girls committee that we can do later on in CHAC.
When I get past Year 7, I'd like to be part of the leadership in Year 9 and Year 12, and also join the Enterprise Centre, as it looks quite fun being able to do business and economics as well.
And I'll just get my other slides up. Again, bear with me. Here we go. It's always good to hear from our students as well, because they're the ones that are experiencing all of the things that we talk about. And I think there's a lot of positives there that they were able to share with you. What we're going to do now is we're going to move over to the chat section of this presentation. So please do send through your questions, and we've got 4 people here to answer them, and I hope that we're able to give you the information that you need to understand a little bit more about the transition to our CHAC Junior Secondary. Thank you very much for participating tonight, and I will be sending this presentation out for those people who were not able to participate in the live presentation. Thank you.